So the restaurant's actually called From Across the Pond, and I'm a shareholder in the restaurant. Inside the restaurant, we're a little unique. We actually have a very small retail store in the corner, which is called the Corner Shop. Not surprisingly, it's a small British goods retail establishment. We import goods, we bring goods in from the UK, and that's leading brand names like Cadbury's, McVitie's, so cookies and crisps and chips and all manner of good things. And alongside from that, we have a very extensive British menu here at the restaurant. And part of that menu is actually products that my company supplies to the restaurant, which is really the idea of wrapping meat inside pastry, which hasn't really taken on fully in the US. So by that I'm talking sausage rolls and pies and pasties, but savoury kind of pies and pasties, so it's generally a meat filling inside them.
And that's the type of stuff that I think would do very well here in North Texas, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason my company's called London Bus Food Company is I actually want to bring a London bus over, a double-decker, and convert the bus with the bottom deck being a kitchen and the top deck being a sit-down restaurant. So that's really how I got introduced to the restaurant, was I was looking for investment for that business plan. And the owner of this restaurant contacted me and said he was opening a new restaurant in Plano. Would I be interested in investing? So I went over there and subsequently I did invest, which gave me a share of this restaurant and access to the kitchens, and now recently, 5 weeks ago, the retail store. So I'm still going to come back to the London Bus idea, which is why London Bus Foods is called what it is.
That is the king of all food truck concepts right there.
I think it is. I think it's really a food truck plus, and obviously the product line that I created, the sausage rolls, the pies and the pasties, are very, very well suited to be basically dispensed out of that truck window kind of environment, and also be the basis of the menu upstairs in the restaurant. So you can serve them very quickly, you don't need a knife and fork to eat them, you can basically eat them out of a paper bag. So in terms of it being a mobile food solution, it's very, very relevant, it's very applicable, and it should be quite eye-catching, I think.
Very cool. Tell us about your background as a chef.
So I'm not formally trained as a chef. I've been cooking for maybe 25 years in total. I have two real interests. One is cooking and the other one is making people happy. I'm a proverbial people pleaser. So my whole career has been business to business. It's been VP sales and marketing roles essentially, and typically traveling the world. So I've met an awful lot of people. I've seen an awful lot of different cuisines. And so 6 months ago, I think many people do their life in the corporate world and then make a decision they really don't want to be part of that corporate world anymore. I was traveling, flying maybe 500,000 miles a year. So the opportunity to get off of an aeroplane and into a kitchen was very, very appealing to me. So that's why I started the company, and it's gone really from strength to strength. It's been pretty phenomenal. So the first 4 months, we were kind of hidden behind the restaurant, so everything we made was supplied through the restaurant. Now in the last 6 weeks, we're supplying direct from the retail store, and when we've amassed something like 2,600 Facebook followers, something like 2,500 Facebook page likes, and it's growing by 100 or 200 a week. So really it's kind of viral. I did a video myself the other week that got 4,600 views in the first 4 hours.
Nice.
So it's going pretty well for us. So what you're going to see in a little while is something called a Cornish pasty, and the Americans that come in store want to call it a pasty, but truly a pasty is something very different to a pasty. The Cornish pasty originated in Cornwall in England, and it was a meal used by the Cornish tin miners. So their wives would cook up this fairly hardy pastry with beef inside of it, rutabaga, which we call swede, which is a kind of turnip, and potato and carrot, and it's seasoned with pepper. They put butter inside it. It's kind of folded, then it's almost braided around the edge. It's got a very thick crimp, a handmade crimp. Then that's baked in the oven for like 1 hour and 5 minutes. So everything inside the pasty cooks at the same time. So all the ingredients are raw when they go in. So the actual pastry forms an oven inside the oven, and it all comes out as a very hardy kind of pie that you can keep in your pocket and go down a mine. So when they would come to eat it, they would actually hold it by the thick braided crust, and they would eat the pasty. Then they would throw the crust away, because one problem in the tin mines is that there's a lot of poisonous dust down there. So arsenic's a real problem. So they would have arsenic powder on their hands, and they wouldn't want to ingest that because over a period of time they would poison themselves. So that's where the pasty came from. It's been around for 400-500 years. And the interesting thing is, if you actually go to Michigan, and especially the upper peninsula of Michigan, the pasties are a very common meal up there, because a lot of the Cornish tin miners actually emigrated to the UP. So it's quite prevalent in one state of the US, but you don't really encounter it outside of that state. So that's the Cornish pasty, a very traditional dish.
So if you've upgraded to my channel package and you have the all factory feature turned on, then it's a good day for you. The crust is beautiful. So according to Terry, I should be holding this by the crust here and eating it this way. There's a beefiness to this that I think would appeal very well to North Texas. This is great comfort food. It's good food year round because we always like beef here in Texas, but especially in the cooler months, this is absolutely perfect. And it's well seasoned. Sometimes British food gets a bad rap for not having enough savoriness. This has got savoriness. Barbecue loving Texans will be beautifully satisfied. Good potatoes, good carrots, and then the beef is included in there as well. And then the crust is just perfect. It's thick, but it's also flaky. It's not doughy. And the crust is just a beautiful balance and gives it just a little bit of crunch to all of the soft goodness that's on the inside. So it's not juicy, it's moist, plenty moist, but it's not going to fall out. So I guess that's one of the reasons they can keep it in their pockets, those who worked in the mines. I know I've got a knife and a fork, but I'm being true to historical form by eating this by hand. And I don't plan to throw my crust away. I haven't used a whole lot of arsenic this morning yet. This is excellent. And again, as Terry mentioned, you can purchase these here in shop at the corner store. Yeah, this is an A-list comfort food, right up at the top of that list. Very good stuff. I thought I was just going to take a few bites for the video. I'm still eating. This is great.
The other thing we're going to show you is a sausage roll. It's kind of like what you get at a donut shop, but it's much more than what you get at a donut shop. I know you have kolaches, which is like a Frankfurter kind of sausage wrapped in pastry. Ours is very different. We use flaky puff pastry, and we actually use ground pork, and then we season the pork in different ways. So we've got 6 different flavors. We're going to show you the traditional flavor today, which is the one that you would pick up on any high street in the UK.
I'm doing the sausage rolls now, which are extremely flaky. Really good. You can see the flakes falling off. This one is even spicier than the traditional Cornish pasty. It's just got that wonderful flavor. Again, very moist to the inside. And you've got that almost extreme flakiness. The crust is just perfect. Very well done.
There's a really big bakery chain in the UK called Greggs. They're selling about 4.5 million sausage rolls every single day. They're a very convenient food. People stop into it, into the stores on the high street, like the main street, and they'll get a sausage roll in a paper bag and they'll carry on doing their shopping, eating their sausage roll. And in fact, the UK #1 in the pop charts this year was actually a remake of We Built This City on Rock and Roll, and it was called We Built This City on Sausage Rolls. It was a charity song, it went to #1, it sold millions of copies, it raised millions for charity, but it shows how ingrained in English culture the sausage roll really is. So I really wanted to build a business on sausage rolls, and so when that was Christmas #1, it kind of played exactly into what I had. Now, probably 70% of my customers are Americans. They're not English people, and they're trying some of these products for the very first time. And in my experience, what I've seen is once somebody tries it, they'll come back and buy it again and again and again, because it doesn't compare to anything that's here. So then if I come back to my original business idea of the London bus, I'm selling something that's very typically English, that the American palate really likes, and I'm doing it in a very unique way. So what I'd like to establish in the end is a business that has different methods of delivering its products, whether it be through the restaurant, whether it be through the bus, whether it be through catering. I'd like to make the products available, and obviously all under the umbrella of London Bus Foods.
Excellent.